So this is Cape IT Unit 2 objective with Module 1, objective 7 on its syllabus, where we explain how the growth of the internet has impact on data handling and on data processing. What you must realize is that the internet is still a new technology. It is still evolving. But what you have understood is that when the internet came in the 1990s and 1980s, we have what is called an ARPANET, what came before the internet. Networks used for collegiate purposes to communicate scholastic papers. ARPANET, A-P-R-A-N-E-T. And in those times, the internet was primarily used for communicating between colleges, especially those doing science and engineering. The military went online with the internet, first of all, ARPANET, to assist in communicating between naval bases. And then in the 1980s and early 1960s, with Neil Armstrong and his team who went to the moon, that became the birth of modern communication. Since then, several space expeditions were done where man has gone to space several times. They have gone into space and they have created communication centers in space. There are space stations that sits in the atmosphere that is now being used to assist us in modern day communication. Nowadays, if a storm is coming, within less than 1 hour, it's all over the news. Because the technology has evolved. But the growth of the internet has really expanded data handling, because more trafficking of data is now on the internet. For those of you maybe are too young to know about the Portmore Causeway, it was normally one lane. One lane going into Portmore, one lane coming out of Portmore. But with more persons living in Portmore, there becomes more trafficking. Then to expand the Portmore Causeway by making arrangements in the morning between 6 and 9 is 2 lanes coming across. And in the evening, between 4 and 7, 2 lanes going back in the evening, because of the amount of trafficking coming through at the time. And that was not enough. They created the Portmore toll to give you this dual carriageway in both directions. Because if there's an emergency and an emergency vehicle wants to go across the causeway in the morning, they couldn't go across, because everybody's coming one way. And in the evening, everybody's going over, and it's an emergency, everybody's going over. To come over the bridge at that time will be very hard to do. It therefore means that the growth of the internet has impacted how we handle data. Because the more data we push across networks, is the more storage devices we need to store those data. We need bigger processors to push that data, larger RAM. We need more computing resources to handle all that data. Large files that are being sent over the internet, it takes a long time to upload these large files onto the internet. But nowadays, because of file software that converts or zip the file or make the file size smaller, that is addressing the issue of handling large data files. Nowadays, instead of any large files with pictures in it, you can use what format? It's large files. You have large files with photographs and diagrams in it. We talk about the space. The Word file format will be too heavy to send across the internet on an email. So what do? Convert the file to a what? A PDF format. When you convert file to PDF format, the text placement don't change when you send the file via email. Because large amount of data is being sent now via the internet. If we open our wireless in Mona High School and everybody anybody who is out there on the school's wireless in the days, what happened to the amount of trafficking of data inside your labs? Slow down. Because everybody is sucking out the internet speed. And you can't browse sites fully because you're not able to, because the wireless is being used by everybody. And that is why companies lock their internet, because of data handling. When I have to push an emergency email now, and my bandwidth is low because of trafficking of the data on the internet at the time, that's the problem. If you look at the cables, the lights in that box up here in the hub, you see the lights flashing. The faster the light is flashing, is the more data it is sending now. Those are activity lights. When you see a modem, sometimes you see the light flickering on the modem, it's about the data being pushed. So what is happening is that the more data you have to push across the internet affects how we handle the data. And then data processing is affected. Because if we were a bank or we are a paymasters and we depend on the internet to process our transactions, and every hour paymasters must put their data together in batches. Am I correct? They use batch processing. They put all the transactions together between 9 and 10, and instead of all of them one time, they're processed by JPS, National Water Commission, Flow, and all the different payment agencies. Every hour, they are sending out the batch files and processing data. But when I send out the file to process it, and the bandwidth on the internet is low, because everybody is sucking out the internet, then it takes a longer time to process the data on the system. It means that the connection that the server establishes with the Flow server and the connection of Paymaster server with JPS server will be engaged much longer, because the processing is taking place now. So the server is being engaged. And the longer you hold on to the server to process your data, other things have to wait. Because once you start batch processing, you can't stop it so easily. Because a batch. When they're making drinks, and they're bottling the drinks, and they mix 10,000 liters of drinks. When they start the button and the press the button and say boom, to start fill the bottles them, to start cover the bottles them, put the lid on the bottle, and something go wrong. To stop the process in the middle of all of it is very difficult to do. Because if you stop the process right now, you might have 40 bottles on the line, not yet covered. The air, bacteria gets into them and contaminates the product. Remember, data processing is done by batch. When you're processing large volumes of data, it's best to process data in batch. Real-time processing only works when data has to be processed now. When you add a credit to your phone, do you wait half an hour before you go by your phone? No. You want to make the call? No. So you add a credit to your phone? No. Because that is a part of data processing. So Digicel has several servers that are running. Digicel has several servers that are running. And these servers run concurrently. So you might have two servers that are dedicated to adding credit to your phone. So you press *121 and put in the voucher number, it checks quickly the database to find a match on the card. When you find a match on the card, strike out the card, add a credit to your phone. And if one is busy, the next one is working. Because each of these servers will have multiple watts on the board. Each of these servers have multiple watts on the board. Multiple watt processors. Servers uses multiprocessing. They have dual core processors because you are using several CPUs at the same time to process the same task. Because all those phone card vouchers, all those printed phone cards, the numbers are stored in a database. That is why if you scratch off the voucher and the number is that they call them, say to you, it will take up to 24 hours for it to go on your account. Because once the number is 60X423XX421, and then after the serial number on the card, they have to go through the entire system and look for a card with that pattern of numbers and figure out where the XX and the other X, what numbers represent by using the serial number. If someone asks you when did they buy the card, which parish you bought the card in, because they know what serial numbers were given to vendors in a particular parish. They know. So I store in Kingston, selling phone cards in Kingston. The voucher numbers in Kingston were always the same voucher numbers in Montego Bay. But it means that if you scratch the card off in Kingston and give a friend the card number in Mobile, you can know the card was bought in Kingston, a particular store. So what you have to understand is that there is increasing use of the internet for domestic communication, and this has increased the demand on internet resources. Let me ask you a question. When you go on a computer, and I'm just asking a general question, as you get on the computer, what is the first application you normally open? Facebook. No, I'm married. Just do a little survey about myself. I'm married, maybe an exception. But normally you go on the internet, or anytime on the internet, any head to go on the internet. If I leave kids inside and turn back, and say they're going to lab and start somewhere, the first thing they do is to open their Facebook. Or they go on the YouTube. YouTube, no, YouTube or Facebook. No, that is what is called domestic use of the internet. Everyday usage. Domestic. Right? There's domestic use of the internet. Using it for everyday social and regular function you carry out. Domestic use. But it's not like you're using the internet for productive use. Like you're using it to upload a video for your class onto YouTube to send to your teacher. That is now educational use of the internet or productive use of the internet. The research has shown that the average human being can spend between 4 to as much as 8 to 15 hours per week on Facebook. And I want to look at those statistics very easily. Because while you're on the internet doing your schoolwork, looking for some stuff on the internet to do your essay or something there, you are also on YouTube listening to music and doing something else. At the same time, you had the Facebook open with your friends talking at the same time. And you flip over and start and talk about your work. The domestic use of the internet. And I challenge each of us to say to you, if you use the internet to do more educational activities, you will learn so much more. Because there's no exam that says Facebook. If you convert those Facebook domestic use of the internet into proper data handling and data processing, you get more done. At the end of the day, there's no exam named Facebook. And YouTube. You must monitor your internet usage. Because the more you're on the internet doing domestic activities, is the slower you have made the bandwidth for somebody else who may be doing their work. The larger the files you are transferring on the internet when you are downloading movies here in the day, and you slow up the server. because the server is monitoring your download. And if we lock off the wireless internet in the school, it affects those people who genuinely have their work to do. Am I correct? Wireless connectivity is very important. But what I always preach to people is that though there's technology in your hand, we must ensure we use it in a way which brings the greatest good. When it comes on to data processing, large volumes of data are being batch processed on the internet by the school. Whether your assignments inside there or uploading an assignment, it's about the page gets cut off. You have to refresh the page. You have it? Because people out there are clogging up your bandwidth. We have 100 megabytes per second transfer speed here. Our flow line, the 100 megabytes. The more you're on it out there wasting time, is the slower. But what you do is narrow in. You see what happens with the internet, our bandwidth is this. And the more you're on it, it starts to constrict our bandwidth more and more. It starts to constrict the bandwidth more and more. So the more persons go online, it constricts the bandwidth till your machine in here starts to crawl. Because everybody has to suck up your internet bandwidth. We start off like this. And the more persons go online on the internet and using the Facebook and the YouTube, all they're doing is constricting the bandwidth inside here. The Cat5 cables give you a higher bandwidth than the wireless. Because cables transfer data faster than wireless methods. Fiber optic there is moving the data at the speed of light. And you know in physics how fast light moves. That is transferring over 100 megabytes per second. And if you are downloading a file and the movie is 3 gigabytes, you imagine 3 gigabytes out of our 100 megabytes per second. How much bandwidth you are taking up when you download the movie. Moshesh? You have a comment a while ago? Megabits per second, but some providers are now using megabytes. So we boost our internet signal with boosters that increase your bandwidth. We use megabits per second, but megabytes per second is also coming on term and start to use now. Because we're talking about uploading to when you upload to satellite, you can't talk about megabits per second. When you upload all those data to the satellite, weather readings, mapping, GPS movement of vehicles and all of that, satellite, real-time data, megabits per second not cut anymore. Because satellites monitor large amount of data uploads. It uploads weather, it uploads traffic movement, it uploads stoplight information in the US, it uploads GPS mapping, it uploads people tracking, it uploads truck tracking information on GPS system, it uploads every single thing uploaded online. Everything. You sometimes have very stupid things on YouTube sometimes, you put on YouTube. And has no purpose there. But my question is, how many of you have ever sat down with YouTube and just do your schoolwork and download mathematics video to learn bits of algebra? Did it work for you or what? Did it complement what the teacher teaching in the class? And if each of us found videos online related to our studies, even though you're holding up our bandwidth to do it, at least you're using the internet for a productive purpose and productive data processing. And you're handling data very well. When I upload your notes onto Facebook and upload notes onto Moodle for you to work online in Moodle and Facebook, all of these things is about I'm trying to handle the data. To clog your email with several emails regularly to send files get confusing sometimes. But when I add the files to Facebook, it synchronizes the files in a date sequence. So you can see which file I added last to the system, am I correct? Likewise on the Moodle, I put your sign, I put your notes in on the weeks. So if you upload, check for today's work, it's in the week. But this week is the work that I put up this week. So, what has happened? We must underscore the knowledge of the internet-driven application in business and see how the existence of these causes a strain to the already limited resources. And I want to point out it again. It says to underscore the knowledge of the internet. The knowledge of the internet causes a strain. The knowledge of internet-driven application in business and see how they cause a strain on the already limited resources. You mentioned e-commerce. When you run an e-commerce platform on the internet, when the banks are running the online banking, you have online classes on the internet, and everybody's on the Skype videoing. Now when you run this online driven application or this internet-based application, you are now cutting down the speed of the internet because Skyping takes up a lot of bandwidth because it is live video upload. And when we're using e-commerce facilities in the banks, and the bank's servers have to be online and synchronized with the web servers. So when you go on the website and you buy a credit card, this is the website with a credit card, and you run a credit card online, the online server that controls the website processing must link up quickly with Digicel local server to get the credit that they need and put it on your phone. But those are internet-driven businesses. So Digicel online credit wouldn't work if there's no internet. And NCB online banking would not work if there's no internet support, internet banking. And paymasters wouldn't work well if they can't do their transactions online. Because those companies sometimes, they have to depend on real-time data processing. So what you understand is that internet-driven applications in businesses, they sometimes are very good, but it's a strain on the limited internet resources. So what is the solution behind all of this? The companies have to put in more servers in place. They have to increase what else in their computer. The processing powers. So they put more CPUs on the motherboards in the servers. If you add more CPUs, you need to add more what? RAM memory and ROM memory. You have to upload, you have to re-strengthen your network capability. So use more fiber optics instead of coaxial cables to transfer data across the company. So you wonder sometimes how can Flow gives you digital picture cable. So I'm coming to sir. So you should be a part of this class too. Now you wonder how can Flow give you high power digital cable? Because around Jamaica, the terrestrial water, about 10 miles out in the sea, they have laid trenches, concrete trenches on the floor of the ocean. And in these trunks are very high-powered fiber optic cables that is transferring data at the speed of light. They dome the trunks close to land because of what? Well, humans can damage them. Ships, the anchor of the ship can drop on them and break them. What else? Weather, such as the what? Wave, ocean movements, the terrestrial water movement. The further out, the deeper you're into the sea, is the less the water is moving. But as you come close to the land, the water can fall much more in a tsunami. Tsunamis form sometimes 3 and 4 miles out in the ocean. And when those waves start, they start very small. And as they get to the land quicker, the water pick up greater momentum and start to fall much higher. Correct, sir? So by the time it gets to the land is here, but the tsunami is all the way up here. So when the water now throws, it goes all the way inland. That is why tsunamis are very dangerous in low-lying areas. That is why once the Met Office in Jamaica have issued a weather alert, the storm is coming, they ask people along the coastline to take evacuation procedures now. Sandy Gully, when rain comes, we know that that gully will swell. Because if there's any blockage anywhere on the gully tributaries, the side ones, and everything is going inside the main gully. And when you see the water right along Reddy's Road, right under the bridges, and the water come all the way up to the bridge and start overflow the banks, you know the danger of water in flood. When the Hope River down there starts swell, they build the houses in the Hope River because what they did in the 1980s, they tried to change the river channel and route the river go somewhere else. So you could develop communities in the area. And you saw when nobody can cross it, when those rivers take back their course. You can't put in a river because water always runs the same way, no matter how much you train the river. Because when it gets too strong, you must cut back its natural course. Unless they create man-made structures where they put the rocks them in the Gambian basket to create these river walls, to run the river a particular way, to tell the river off somewhere they want the water to go. Because sometimes they build some things too close and then the water keeps on tearing off the walls. And the more the water tears off the walls of the earth around the river banks, is the more dangerous it becomes for people. So they now use Met data, meteorological readings of the wave height, the river height, to make decisions on when to evacuate people. But they don't wait until the water is high. They send out flash flood warning. It remains in effect until they say it is safe. And once the flash flood warning is on, you must take precautions to move into a shelter. Because when the water comes down on you inside those areas, to get you out of them will not be so easy anymore. And they're going to risk other humans' lives to save your life. And some of the people who are saving you end up dying because of your ignorance of the law. So what you realize is that there are many ways people who operate the internet spend millions of dollars on their websites to ensure that the net function within the required performance level. Companies like NCB and BNS and Scotiabank and Paymasters and JC Penney and all of these online companies, they spend millions of dollars to ensure the internet is working properly. Because the people what? Advertisement space on the internet. When you go online and see some banners on Facebook, they are paid for those advertisement spaces.
It's a new smart machine that I created in NCB.
I've seen them as well.
They made a new machine for me, smart machine.
Tell me about it.
A lot of all kind of things.
So they're not giving you a machine at home to use?
Huh?
They give you a machine at home to use
No.
or internet portal?
No, you go somewhere.
Internet portal they go on to.
No, you go. It's very new, so I think they must have about twice. They're going to spend a lot of money.
So those are what's called kiosk. These standalone machines you go in there, you do your own transaction on them. Like ATMs then. They are called kiosks. Kiosk. They are a very powerful machine because inside of them They carry their own Wi-Fi network, their own everything inside of them, and they can support themselves. So what we're talking about is the banks and other agencies, schools, universities, Harvard, Oxford, MIT, UWI, UTech. They spend a lot of money investing in their network, in their schools, and in their companies. They put very good machines in them. They have very good servers online to monitor traffic on the internet. If you try hacking the NCD system to steal some money, as the first server picks up station and hacking into it, it starts shut down your access. And if you go through one server and pass them security settings, the next server jumps on a stronger protection on the system, and the firewall gets stronger. Why do you think this will block you? If you try to add credit to your phone, the same one to your phone more than once. After about 5 or 8, if you try it 5 or 8 times, it blocks you for a day. Because the system is picking you up, they're trying to hack into their card system by guessing the voucher numbers. They pick you up and they block you. Ever hear it? Block you. 24 hours. Because the data handling that they're getting is that this phone is adding vouchers too often, or trying to get the vouchers and adding vouchers them and numbers wrong too often. It means that you are guessing the voucher numbers. Five. Treat. No, she will work with me. She'll tell me what she said she's friend Friday. Okay, call back. Sure. Now, what is happening is that the people who operate the internet, you might wonder who owns the internet. Nobody owns the internet. Absolutely no one owns the internet. But people create networks on the internet that they pay. So there are bodies that monitor the use of the internet. One of them is the International Telecommunications Union, ITU. Another one is the World Wide Web Consortium. There are people who monitor the internet. And that is why when you put certain things on Facebook and on YouTube, and there's a public outcry of what the material is, somebody goes on and takes it off the Facebook and the YouTube. You ever see it yet? Videos no longer available. Somebody went on and removed that video. Because the videos, for example, if the video is one that affects human rights, imagine videos of soldiers shooting people in their head on YouTube. Because the internet is being sensitized. Some videos are being censored. Yeah, but after a while, they're going to pick it up and block it on Facebook eventually.
Okay, somebody reporting here.
So somebody's monitoring the sites. Imagine a video on YouTube. I'm showing you how sick these videos can get. Of a man molesting a 6-year-old child in a video. And it's on YouTube and being transmitted publicly on phones. Look how quickly that video gets shut down. Think about it. Because it means that the people who are the investors behind the internet, who is paying for the advertisement of those websites, the corporate companies building networks to support the bandwidth of the internet, to create what is called create the backbone of the internet. The money is funded by the companies who pay for advertisements. Companies and countries donate to create their own network. So like Jamaica, Flow came in, and before Flow started operating, they were operating on the Line network until they built their network. And what they do is build one transmitter first, connect it up, build a next transmitter, and start connecting all of them on the LAN. Then they drop down their fiber optics around the LAN afterwards. So we create our network to support our data transmission. Our network is so strong that if Cayman have an earthquake or hurricane or Haiti and they need internet support and coverage, we can reroute to them. If they don't become damaged, our network can support Cayman, Haiti. Because in the need, when there's a need of natural disaster, one country's resources can become another country's resource. If there's no water in Haiti because the pumps are damaged, the sensors are blocked, so they can't transfer the water, then our country automatically under the human rights and under the agreement of the Geneva Convention signed by the WTO, the World Trade Organization, under UNICEF, under all these humanitarian groups we stand for, we have a responsibility as a country to assist our neighbors right away. It means that if Jamaica had a hurricane and we are devastated, I am quite certain that international please come to us, because people are monitoring the news on the internet. Jamaica is devastated, and all people in the world start trying to get money and send money home to their family. Pop barrels, send barrels home to their family, because the internet is the primary use of transferring data. And even if the telecom is down, even if, for example, the TV is down, that TVJ and RGR and CPM were badly damaged in the transmitters, the internet may very much still be on. Yes? The internet may very much still be on. The internet may still very much be on. So you have to understand is that the people who operate the internet, these people spend millions of dollars to pay for their website perform well, and that the net function within the required performance level. There's a required standard must perform at, and that the customers are satisfied and the corporate entity satisfied. If you pay for something online, you have to wait half an hour for it to go through on the internet. Then the customers are going to be satisfied. Correct? Because the internet band is blocked up. The data hand is blocked up because everybody is blocked at the same time. I'll give you an example. Midnight, New Year's Eve. Try to send text messages at midnight, same time. What is the system? It's blocked up. Because everybody calling and texting, Happy New Year, and everybody is blocking up the system. And make it an emergency call sometimes. You can't get a circuit. Have you ever picked up your phone and called and said there's no circuit available at this time? You ever realize? Because all the circuits for your call is being jammed by somebody else. We must be able to assess the integrated use of web meeting technologies, so that web conferencing, web computing, audio conferencing, see that data is not only being pushed via voice, but via video and digital documents. The more we use web-based technologies, web meetings, the slower our bandwidth has become. So if you have a class online, and there are 80 persons online in a Skype class, the more persons who are outside that are not on the wireless wasting time, is the faster the video will transfer over Skype, and the audio will transfer much faster. Correct? Because it needs more space to transfer data. Now, voice over IP becomes very popular. People no longer make international calls really anymore. And with Galaxy phones now able to Skype, and BlackBerry Z10 can Skype, people stop really big international call. Them Skype you. Or they use instant message like Yahoo Messenger and use Yahoo Chat, MSN Chat. They use Meebo. They use other chat portals to talk via voice. To see that fax machines as a push factor for many business operators internationally. One time they have a fax machine, they couldn't survive. But now, that has been replaced by what? Email. People don't have fax anymore. Most things come by email now. Because most times they are junk and spam. You get by fax. People go into the book and look for your fax number and fax it in the advertisement and send your fax. It's a waste of ink, waste of light. If you don't clear the fax machine, it wastes time. No one is an email you, but what? You can go and do the spam. That is how the data handling, spamming too much unnecessary junk coming in on the internet. And my final point is that to understand the call for servers to manage net resources and requests, we need more servers. Right now the school has 2 servers. If one go down, the other server can chip in automatically. So while we're working on one server, the system can still perform at minimum performance, and sometimes above minimum standard. But if both servers go down, stand still. When you are fixing road, they block off one lane and put everybody in one lane, you go through one time. But they still open the road. So what you would see from your discussion is that the growth of the internet on data handling and data processing had both been positive and have both been negative. It did affect data handling negatively and data processing negatively by unnecessary trafficking. But it was for a good, because we could not survive without the internet today. Or think about it. Could you really survive without the internet for 1 month? Imagine you have to go back to the library to write a note about books. You have to go to the library and research in books again. When does we go to the library to research about a book in the library? When last? Not very often. Maybe when you're people, you go to the library for a book and find a book. But most time when you write a research paper for A-level classes, it's internet source they use. Not many people go to the books. This topic is in discovering computers. This topic is in the MIS by Lorden, which none of you have read as yet. Moshe has read. We are still a God. So, what you see online is your notes. You will see a research paper I have put together, a 5-page handout on the growth of the internet, impact on data handling and data processing. It's on both. My first opening paragraph said, growth of the internet since its introduction have affected the way in which data is stored and retrieved across several file servers that is used in processing and supporting network management and network traffic. With the internet being so developed, over 5,000 servers are worldwide. Many users find that their requests for documents and information can be accessed very quickly. In reality, local processing is done at the nearest web servers, and then other contact is made to several other servers located across the world. That sounds logical, right? And I go on to say that rapid employment growth is expected in web research portals and data processing, hosting and related services, while employment in internet services providers is expected to decline. Telecommunications, including voice, video, and internet traffic services have grown. Employment will grow because technological advancement will expand services available, online bank, internet banking. With rapid technology changes in telecommunication, those up-to-date technical skills have the best job opportunities. Those with the skills to work online will get better jobs. Lawyers are becoming dime a dozen, but no law firms are now creating their offices online. You can go and get online advice and pay for it on the internet. You have a portal there you can pay the credit card to legal services now. There's e-medicine. Doctors can stay in Jamaica and operate on somebody in the next country by telling them what to do. E-medicine. At Ashikawa Health Center in Japan, doctors in Tokyo instruct the surgeons in Ashikawa how to do eye surgery. Over 4,000 miles away, the doctor is telling you how to do the surgery. Because all doctors really who are surgeons have got the practice already in how to do the surgeries. But they don't do it very often. So as a more experienced doctor, I'm going to tell you how to do it and guide you in what to do. So they need high-powered cameras to take high-quality videos of what you're doing. Very good connection for audio and video. So the doctor in Tokyo can hear you and he can tell you what to do. So there's no virtual surgeries being done. Average earnings in telecommunications greatly exceed the average earnings throughout the private industry. Telecom is working more money now than before. So in closing, what you have to understand, ladies, is that though the internet encourages large data and data processing, and many businesses today are striving because of the internet, there is also the downside of that. Alright? Thank you very much. Are there any questions you have?